Welcome to the October 6th meeting of the Berlin Conservation Commission in accordance with Governor Baker's March 2020 order superseding certain provisions of the open meeting law due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. This meeting will be held remotely via the Zoom platform. All participants should be aware that anything you say, share, or show on camera during this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to the Town of Berlin YouTube channel. This virtual location was listed on the agenda along with all necessary links for public attendance. Audience members who wish to participate should use Zoom's hand raise function or raise hand function, and you will be called upon by the chair when appropriate. When recognized, callers should clearly state their name before asking a question or making a comment. Please remember to mute your microphone when not speaking and speak clearly to ensure accurate minutes. I will now take a roll call vote to confirm that all members of the Conservation Commission are present and can hear me before opening the meeting. AJ?
Present.
Holly?
Here.
Robin?
Here.
Walter?
Here.
Louise?
Here.
Carolyn? Here. I now call the meeting to order at 7:04. All right, Robin, I am going to hand hosting duties over to you.
Okay.
All right. That should be that. And get my agenda. So first thing on the agenda, review and approve minutes from the previous meeting. Did everybody get the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right to me.
Any comments about the minutes? Hearing none. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? AJ?
Aye.
Holly?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Louise?
Aye.
Carolyn? Aye. Motions, minutes approved. And treasurer's report.
All right, so this is still the June 30th numbers. So as of, actually, oh, shoot, I opened up the wrong one. Hold on just a sec. All right, so as of June 30th for wetlands, we have $11,695.47. For open space, we have $236,881.59. And for the budget, we have $137.09.
We know that's the one that's the most inaccurate at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, so as of July 31st on the budget, we had 1566, but I think we have some other expenses that have hit since then, although they may have been captured. I think most everything was captured by June 30th. So there wasn't really too much against the budget other than I think we had like $15 worth of postage for you, Carolyn, and now we have another 17 for Louise. So that we're around 1,500 for budget.
Right, well, right, because that does reflect the MACC dues, because our budget was 2,000, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't think other than postage we really spent anything other
No, I
than
don't
that.
think so either. So
Excellent. So bills and forms. So Louise, you have a postage reimbursement.
yep, it's for $16.92.
Do I
This
have a
was
motion?
for, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I was
God.
just gonna say, it was just that, the Wellington to Pinto one, 28 Allen Road.
Right. Do I have a motion to reimburse Louise for 1691? Is that what it is?
1692.
1692.
I know. That's a big difference.
I don't want to cheat her out of her penny.
I motion to reimburse Louise for 1692.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah.
Second.
Thank you, AJ. All those in favor? AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Louise.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay,
Right.
and Carolyn, I. Okay, so Robin, so you'll do
So
the
I think-
paperwork?
Yeah, so I'll do the paperwork and does it work for you to just have me put it in the box, or do you want to try and arrange to just meet up in the neighborhood? I mean, I don't know if it's easier schedule wise.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously easier if we can just meet in the driveway. Mine or
Okay.
yours, I don't care.
Okay,
Um,
so I think, like we've talked about, I think you can just sign the paperwork once I put it together,
I
and then we
believe,
can just submit it.
right.
So I don't think we need everybody's signature on it for, I mean, what is it, up to 1,000 or 500 or?
At least 500. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It may even be 1,000, which was a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Louise?
The only time that we need the signatures from the commission is when the reimbursement goes to you.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
I thought.
Right,
we had
didn't
given-
John,
Yeah,
but-
I thought,
We used to
Remember-
sign, when the reimbursement went to John, I do believe we were signing.
because what was that rule that John put in? That John found that we voted under him to allow the chair to spend up to a certain dollar amount.
Right. That was because of COVID. And the
No.
fact that we were meeting by Zoom.
All right, well, it's still that.
Right.
Um,
but Louise might be right. I kind of vaguely do remember signing some stuff. But I don't know, these forms don't look familiar to me, so.
all right, so we'll just, when June gets back, or if her.
I'll check with the
assistant
clerk,
can- Yeah. All right. There was no mail and notices last night when I checked. So I sent everybody the latest information about Maplewood Farms and all of the latest report from Ecotech. The other day, did everybody get a chance to look through that?
Yeah.
I do.
There was a lot of information, so.
Yeah, I
but
was
it
gonna say,
looked-
I didn't read the details. I scrolled through it.
Yeah,
I didn't have
looked
time
at
to
the
get through all of
pictures.
it. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I went up and walked the site this afternoon.
Oh, good.
I think it looks pretty good. The dike down low at the lowest point, which they should have had initially,
Right,
seemed to be working. There's quite a large detention area, and they were draining it out with little garden hoses, which they claim is quite effective. But anyway, I thought the site looked pretty good and a lot better than it had in the past.
yeah, yep. Were they still draining it into the buckets with the flock logs, or just,
Oh, I didn't notice that. They were just draining it over so that, there was no erosion caused, obviously, from a garden hose. But
right,
I was surprised at the amount that would drain in a matter of a day, even, never mind a few days.
right,
A few garden hoses. But anyway, the site looked good. I couldn't see indications of any washover. I didn't look at the brook during the storm, so I don't know if that got silted or not. But anyway, it looked good as far as I could see.
excellent. Well, good. I'm good. Thank you for going up there today. checking that out. And Highland Ridge, so Pat's most recent monitoring report, I believe I sent to everybody. He said it looks great up there, you know, that they're just doing a great job keeping everything intact. And then, so we're just waiting for town council. That shouldn't say review town council's comment. It should, I have to be more careful about my cutting and pasting. We're just waiting for, so town council has already commented on the major body of it. We're just waiting for approval of the new trail map and any wording pertaining that. So we're getting closer and closer. I think, well, I know that their attorney has been in touch with the state with the first draft of the CR, or the last draft of the CR, I should say, to get that commenting at get that rolling at the state level. So we're moving along. And no news on River Road West, no news on 36 Dudley Road. So
long as we don't have a local bylaw, we're not gonna have any word on 100 River Road. Or those other places.
or the other one, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
But I'm just gonna keep them up there as open enforcement orders.
yep,
So we do have an appointment at 7:30. So until 7:30, we'll truck along. So our next meeting, which is the 19th or the 20th, I will be in New Mexico. I'm actually going to visit Karen, Walter.
say hi for me.
I will indeed. So I know that her Wi-Fi is pretty sketchy. So, and we really don't, we don't have anything at all on the agenda. So I wasn't sure if how everybody felt about just canceling the meeting, or if somebody else wants to chair.
I'm fine with canceling if we don't have any issues.
I'll second that.
Okay. Do we need to vote?
Yes,
All right.
I would move that we cancel the meeting of the 19th of October 19th.
I'll
I
second.
second it.
All right, hold on, let me just check the date. So it's actually the 20th. Yeah.
Correction accepted.
okay. So who
Uh,
moved? Walter?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone second? I'll second it.
Oh, I did. And Holly did.
Robin, just say Robin.
We were fighting to second that one.
Okay.
AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Walter,
I
Louise,
Aye.
Carolyn, I. All right, so I will make sure that gets posted. Okay, so Robin and Holly, there was some information about the rail trail that went around this week. Anybody have an update?
Yeah, so I talked to Peter Sutton today. It sounds like, he's trying to get towns to drum up support for things, by like doing the doing feasibility studies more in depth. I guess what they did, the statewide one that they did was kind of high level. So he was looking to get us to put a grant proposal together and get, a cost proposal from, a consultant to do that work. So I emailed the guy at VHB that was involved in doing the statewide study, just figuring that they already have a lot of the information. So hopefully it'll be cheaper since a lot of that stuff is already done.
great.
So yeah, so I heard back from him. He wanted to have a call. So we're going to try and set something up for the next week or two and chat about that and see what needs to be
Awesome.
done.
Do you know who at VHB? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, his name is Bill DeSantis.
Okay. Because VHB was the company that did all of the work up at Highland Commons.
Yeah, they do a ton of stuff. They're huge.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this is a guy that was involved in doing this work. So I started with him just to see what their number comes in at. And the grant proposal cycle opens November 1st. I think it's not due until February. So we have more time this year. I know we talked about doing it last year. So I don't know if we also want to, discuss whether or not we want to try and revisit this land purchase with the railroad, or if we just want to let that lie for now. I mean, we could probably get a lot of it covered by the state, but we would have to be willing to give up something. So if they're still willing to do the $10,000 an acre price, I think we were looking at $100,000. And so we'd have to put up, I don't know, 10 or 20 grand, something like that. I forget what it was. So I don't know if we want to commit CPA funds to that, but I can reach out to the railroad if we want to try and make that happen.
I think it needs to happen. I'd like to,
So would the feasibility study include that property?
Yes, the study would cover the whole section of Berlin, the whole Berlin section.
And so VHB is going to do that?
Well, no, so that's the thing. So I guess that we don't have to make this decision just yet, although I say that, and we would kind of need to know what was the outcome of, I guess it probably doesn't make sense for this year now that I think about it, because we kind of need to know what the outcome of the study is in order to see if that land makes sense. So, I mean, chances are, because Clinton is doing the tunnel, like that's the way they're going to want it to go. But,
Right.
Yeah, so never mind on the land. I don't know if it's going to make sense for this year.
Right. Because and it also depends on how badly the state will want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have to buy it.
Well, so that's the thing. Their thing is that the grant will cover most of it. I guess they gave Clinton $300,000, but Clinton also has been doing a lot of fundraising and had money to put in themselves. I don't know if that was through the Conservation Trust or if the town themselves put the money in. So yeah, so it probably just makes more sense to do the feasibility study first and see what makes sense. So what he did tell me though was that the section, I guess there's still a little bit in Wayland, and I don't know if it was all of Sudbury or part of Sudbury, but that work he said is going to get done in 2025. And the Hudson and Berlin section up to, say Coburn isn't funded yet, but he made it sound like it is entirely possible that work could get funded, especially if this, infrastructure bill goes through, and that, the section up to Coburn Road could possibly get done, because I had said, so, what are we looking at, like eight years or so to get Berlin done? And he's like, well, that section could get done sooner. So it's possible that we could be looking at just a couple of years out.
Right.
So I don't think that section of like Five Corners and West is going to happen in that time frame, but there's not really a whole lot of roadblocks up to Coburn Road and even up to Five Corners, really.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, we'll wait until we see the feasibility study and then figure out what our options are.
Yeah, so that's the plan right now. Is I'm going to see what the proposal comes in at, and we can I can work on the grant proposal. I may need help from some other people, to pull some stuff together, but should be able to make it work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we have just a couple of minutes before our 7:30 appointment. Anybody have anything else on the rail trail before we move on?
So the only thing I was thinking we should mention again, and when we started talking about this, a year or so ago, we were not going to include this in Concom. It was like needed to be more of a friends of group that was working on it. And I forget why. We got to follow up with Mary. I think it was Mary that we talked to, John and I. And so I don't know if we should be talking about this as part of Concom. And I mean, I know we talk about trails with this group, but I think this, if there's going to be any fundraising and that kind of stuff, it may need to be a separate group.
Right.
I think that might have been the issue. So.
Okay.
Kevin, could you specify who Mary is? I didn't get a last name.
Oh, Mary Errata, Arata, is that right?
Yep.
And she
Mm.
is, what's her role actually, now that I think
She
about it?
is the administrative
Assistant,
assistant, or is she
Okay.
the
town
select board?
administrator.
She's
Town-
I thought
secretary.
Margaret's a town administrator, right?
Right,
Right, so she's the administrative assistant to Margaret.
Okay.
but she's also the select board support
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
staff.
Yep.
Whatever her official title is, I'm not entirely sure.
Poor
Yeah.
man. What is your title, by the way?
My title?
No.
Okay, so just real quick, we have hired a temporary, very part-time conservation agent. Yay!
Wow, that's good news.
Good
When did they
news.
start?
She's not going to start until November 1st.
Okay.
She's actually on vacation next week, and then I'm on vacation the week after that.
Okay.
So it just made sense to have November 1st be her start date.
Great.
We had 4 applications come in with
Wow.
anybody that had any environmental education and,
Hmm.
environment adjacent even
Hmm.
experience and education. 2 of those people wound up not following through with the interview process. And the other person was really nice. She was great, but she didn't have quite as much experience as the woman that we hired. So the woman we hired, her name is Maddie. Oh, Boom. I don't remember exactly her last name, but it's
Okay.
Maddie.
Okay.
She lives in Hudson. She is currently working with the company that's doing the Asian longhorn beetle studies.
Hmm.
She also hopefully this week took and passed her the test to become a certified arborist.
Great.
So she comes to us with lots of experience about natural systems and how things work like that. So I don't think it'll take much to get her up to speed on wetlands. She already understood the basics when we were talking about it in the interview.
Great.
So
How many hours will she be available?
unfortunately, the job is only for 8 hours a week
Yeah.
right now.
Hmm.
But
But she can give us that much though?
yeah, yep.
Okay, good.
So yeah, so she's, going through all the paperwork process of being hired by the town right now.
Great.
When is she starting? November
1st.
1st.
Yep. And Louise, I'll get you her full real name for the minutes.
Okay,
But yes, very exciting. She's excited. I'm excited. So,
Margaret was very enthusiastic and praised her very highly the other day. So
Yeah.
that's good.
yep, and
Sounds very interesting.
yep, yeah, just really, knows their stuff, and I'm just thrilled that we will finally have that position filled.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be a huge help.
Yep. All right, well, our 7:30 is not a hearing or anything, so we can start a couple minutes early.
Okay.
So if you could elevate Jason and Peter,
Okay.
that would be great.
There we go.
Good evening.
Good evening, welcome,
Thanks for carving out some time for me.
of course. So if you would just kind of, I saw you at planning board, so I know why you're here. But if you could just kind of give everybody a synopsis of why you're here and what you guys are looking to do.
I'm with the EDC and Peter Hoffman and crew, and we were working on a Welcome to Berlin sign program package sponsored by local businesses. And we have a couple local businesses that are willing to sponsor some signs. We were looking to 3 or 4 signs, depending, really just trying to kind of put an identity to the border of Berlin and where people are entering our town, and just kind of show them where we are. The first sign that we would like to put up is over by the community garden. We figured that would be an easy location since the town has a lease on that land. The AG group, I'm meeting with them on the 12th, but informally, they've told me that they're okay with it already. The building inspector is already on board. Planning board seemed to like the idea. You guys were the next stop, and part of the reason was the location that we're looking at for it was down closer to the culvert that goes under the road. Obviously, we got to be certain distance from the water. We got to be up on that hill a little bit, but that's kind of the gist of what we're trying to do. It will have some solar lighting on it. It'll have the town seal on it, and it'll have a sponsorship. The sponsorship from the local businesses, or we've kind of come. The thought is it would be a 5-year sponsorship, and then we would look at renewal. We're not doing this to like generate revenue or anything like that. We just kind of thought it was a fun project and would like to put some signs around.
Awesome. Do you have the map showing where you would like to locate the sign?
Yeah.
Share that.
Can I just get confirmation you can see my screen?
Yep. Well, it says you've started. Oh, there you go.
There we go. So if it'll advance. So this is roughly what the sign would look like. The dimensions do fall in line with the code, how many square feet of signage we can have. I kind of just took a picture of the road and threw the sign in there just to kind of bring it to space. I didn't update this. I should have updated this, but you can see the yellow dot down here. So my thought is it would be roughly 20 to 30 feet off of the culvert, and 10 or 15 feet back off the road. And again, Highway Department, I'd spoken to them in the past and they were okay with the location. But really, it just got to kind of work our way through the committees here.
I don't see where that involves the Conservation Commission at all. That land has been tilled and utilized. When I was a kid, I used to drive a horse breaking hay in that field. You're just putting it where it's already altered and manipulated. And how far from the road is it going to be? Right on the side, correct?
Yeah, about 10 or 15 feet back, out of the way of the plows when they go by.
Well, 15 feet is 10 or 15, 10 feet is too far. Usually see them right off the road, several feet.
Yeah.
But I don't see where that involves us at all. I think it's all right.
Okay.
Others may have a different opinion.
Yeah, I just, actually, my concern was proximity to Northbrook. And so how far, oh, you can't see my pointer, how far from the brook to the sign?
So if we
Ish.
use the culvert as kind of the measure, I was looking at like 20 feet down from it. It starts to go uphill there. Because there's a little, obviously there's a ditch there where the brook cuts through. But we could, I mean, you guys know how much space is over there. We could go 30, 40 feet away from the brook. It's all open field there. The driveway is so far down for the community garden. There's over 100 foot of space in between the driveway and that culvert. So if there was concern for disturbing the land around the brook, we can certainly come closer.
There's a couple of things, Madam Chair. There is a plan accepted to actually put a pedestrian walkway, widen the bridge and put a pedestrian walkway. And this sign is a pittance. It's nothing, number one. So, I don't see it's a big deal. The other thing is, why would you go so far away from the town line? I would think you'd want to back up anyway, so it would be available once someone enters the town across the line. It makes more sense to have the sign right there rather than 500 feet down the road.
Sure. And I can drive back over there and size that up a little bit.
Then
When I initially started this, I wasn't sure where the property lines were for the community garden and how much of that land we had access to without talking to a private landowner and such. So.
Come back 200 feet from the edge of the brook, and you don't even have to talk to us.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly you don't even have to talk to us at that point. But yeah, I just would like to see it pulled back some away from there.
Again, there's so much space there.
Yes.
So I appreciate the feedback.
Yep. So I guess just to make it official, do we have a motion to support the EDC placing the Welcome to Berlin sign on conservation land?
I move that we approve the placement of the sign 200 feet back from the brook on the east side of River Road West and no more than 7 feet off the pavement.
Do you want all that in the motion?
Yep.
You're going to have to repeat it, okay? So replace the sign.
Will it still be on conservation land if it's 200 feet away from the brook?
You're right.
Right, well,
'Cause
so
if-
I'm not sure how far, what the distance is from the brook to,
What's it
You
say
know.
on the map? It's gotta be several hundred feet.
Yeah, it's all the way to the community garden is considered conservation land.
Yes,
So
Right.
CR.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have everything that Walter said in the motion, though.
all right, what do you have?
Walter move we place sign on CC land 200 feet away from,
Northbrook,
And no more than several feet, 7 feet from the pavement. We don't want it out in the middle of the
and
field.
no more than 7 feet from pavement, okay. And Robin moved,
oh, well, Walter,
Yeah, I
Walter,
seconded.
Walter moved
Right,
and Robin
Walter
seconded,
moved,
yeah.
Robin second, right? Okay,
All right, take a roll call vote. AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Louise,
I,
Walter,
I,
Carolyn, aye. All right, guys, you're good to go.
I appreciate your time.
Not a
you very
problem.
much.
I appreciate you coming in.
No problem. I will
Thank
talk to all of you in the future.
All right,
All right.
Have a good night.
good night. All right. And our second appointment, again, that's not a hearing, so we can take that early. So Robin, if you would promote Jack.
There it goes.
Hi, Jack.
Good evening, Caroline. How are you?
Good, nice to see your face, have a face to the name.
Nice to see you too. I wish it was in person.
I know, so don't I. But you're traveling anyway, right? You said?
Yeah, I'm getting tired of talking to these computers.
I'm sure, right?
Nothing like a face-to-face.
I hear you. It's been a long time. So just to let everybody know, so Jack Finn, Jack, what's your actual address?
It's 147 Peach Hill Road.
So Jack has some beavers that have built a pond and are causing some issues for some of the neighbors. So Jack has hired a company to install a device that will allow the beavers to stay in the pond, but will allow the water to be drained out so that it doesn't flood the neighbors when we get a lot of rain. So Jack, do you want to kind of take us through kind of where we're at? And
Well, I'll start off. I got notified, first of all, where the Beavers are on Carr Road, and it's about a half mile from where I live. So I live on Peach Hill Road, which is up gradient of Carr Road. Carr Road is down lower by the country club. And apparently this beaver problem, which happened about 8 years ago, is happening again now. And so I have some neighbors that are up gradient of me, which are on Carr Road. I think it's called the 5-0 Ranch. It's the DeBello family. And then I have some other neighbors, which are the Berlin Country Club, which are down gradient of me. And so I was notified it was about mid-August. I was notified that there was a dam from the Beavers, and the dam was being breached, and as a result of the dam, it was causing some flooding conditions at the country club. And the country club owner notified me of that. And subsequently, I found out that the people at the 5-0 Ranch were in fact taking apart the dam, and whether that was the issue or not, I don't know. I didn't know I had beavers, so it's taken me from now until then to understand what the process was with the beavers. So there's basically two processes with the beavers, and we had beaver problems at that pond about 8 years ago. In Sid DeBello, who's the owner of the 5-0 Ranch, got a permit and did something with the beavers. I don't know what he did, whether he trapped them. I'm not sure what he did, but eliminated the problem. But they've come back now, and they built the dam right at the culvert that goes under the street. And as a result, the 5-0 Ranch is being flooded. And every time that they go down and take debris out of the dam, the country club gets flooded. So that's where we're at today. Carolyn, as you know, I've reached out and found somebody who does beaver management, and they've told me the solution to this is to put a water control valve in, which is a control valve that goes through the pipe under the culvert, and possibly some fencing around the pipe. And this will allow the beavers to remain in their habitat and everybody to get along friendly, the way I understand it. Are you still there? My screen went black.
Oh, yeah, we're still here. Yep.
So, and then, I think I've just discovered, I've shared it with you, Caroline, within the past week, that this is potentially a highway department responsibility. And so I haven't filed any permits or anything else to understand whether it's my responsibility or theirs. But I'm pretty concerned about Pat DeBello, because she's upstream of me and she's been dealing with this problem. She won't complain about it. She won't do anything about it. And I think there needs to be a final solution. And I've said if the highway department doesn't want to take responsibility, I would on my property. So that's kind of where it's at this moment. You agree with that, Carolyn?
I do. I agree. And I sent the email that came, I think earlier today or late last night, with all of the attachments I sent around to the group so everybody could be up to speed on it. But the recommendation from the Beaver Management Company is that trapping and eliminating the beavers doesn't take the habitat away. So it's not a permanent solution, where the water control valve, they say, is a permanent solution.
Just to give you an idea, that pond down there is probably 2 or 3 acres. In the habitat, I saw it 8 or 10 years ago, is on the very far side of the pond, and it's there. I went out and I saw it on the ice. So the way it was explained to me is, even if you get rid of all the beavers today, beavers are going to find their way back to that habitat, and the problem will reoccur. So the long-term solution is this water valve, and it makes everybody happy.
Right. So do you know, so you haven't been in contact with the highway department, correct?
Well, no, actually I went to the board. It's the Board of Health's responsibility to do that. And as you know, I asked Bill Brookings last week to contact the highway department and find out what their position was. So because it's a culvert that goes under the road, according to the Beaver Management Company, they tell me it's the Berlin Highways Department responsibility to deal with it. And I think I also sent you an email that said if they won't deal with it, I will.
Right.
So that's where,
Right,
where-
and I think it's less an issue of whether they will deal with it, it's whether they will be able to deal with it in a timely fashion. They've, the highway superintendent retired or, left in July, and they've been a skeleton crew all summer. So, I'm not sure. So your next step may be to, well, let's hear from our in residence select board member.
Yeah,
to
how did I know that this was coming my way,
Yeah.
Carolyn? So Jack, I'm Peg. I'm the liaison to the Conservation Committee, Commission. As Carolyn was saying, it's not that Highway can't. They are stretched to the max. We've recently promoted one of their folks to the interim Highway Department supervisor, facility supervisor. They have just hired a new gentleman that will be coming on in 2 to 3 weeks. They've lost their part-time person. Winter is approaching, so they're getting all the equipment ready. You need one of their folks on the staff needs to go through CDL training and learning how to officially plow for the town. So unfortunately, Board of Health really doesn't have any jurisdiction over Highway to tell them to do it or not. This is something that needs to come up through the Board of Selectmen, and then we can work with Highway to determine if truly there is any capacity versus what else they need to do.
well, good. Here's my view on the highway department. I had a tree fall over on my property, on my fence from the highway last year. My wife spent 6 months trying to get this tree removed. It tore down my fence and everything else. And finally, I had to go out and remove the tree by myself and take care of it and deal with it. Destroyed my fence. So this is the highway department's responsibility. If they don't want to deal with it, they need to put something in writing to me.
No, again, Jack,
wanna deal with
Jack, I don't mean to cut you off, but again, it's not so much that the highway needs to deal with this. It's the capacity of the highway, and it needs to be measured with the other priorities that are going on in the town. And unfortunately, I'm sad that the tree came down, but trees notoriously, and I'm sure that Walter can, speak to this, trees are coming down throughout the town due to either, droughts or beetles or whatever. There is an abundance of hundreds of trees within the town that need to come down. So again, it's not that Highway doesn't want to do it. It's a cost that was not built into their budget. So unfortunately, you need to go beyond just what is happening and kind of look at other steps. That's why I'm saying if this is something that you want to approach the Board of Selectmen with, then you'll need to reach out to our admin, Mary Errata, who can pass the information up to Margaret Nardowitz and myself. We put the agenda together and see where we can fit you in on an agenda to come and talk about it.
Well, let me make it clear. The Beavers, I live 1,000 feet above sea level. The Beavers are 1,000 feet below me. I don't care what the Beavers are doing right now. They're flooding my land. I've got 12 acres of wetlands. If I have 15 acres of wetland, I don't care. So this is not my problem. This is clearly not my problem. This is a problem. I didn't put the Beavers there. The Beavers are creating a problem for my uphill neighbors and my downhill neighbors. All right. So if the Beavers live there and make another 10-acre pond, it doesn't matter to me. Okay. So somebody needs to take responsibility and deal with this other than myself.
Yeah, Madam Chair. Jack, you and I spoke briefly about this on the phone one time. I'm Walter Bickford speaking, by the way. As far as your tree goes, I totally sympathize with you. If a town tree fell across your land, it should have been taken care of. It's not a big deal to take care of a tree. As far as
Walter, I have 3 more trees that are ready to come down now.
Yeah.
We told the town about it, and they just don't care. Period.
Well,
care.
I,
They don't
I,
whatever it is.
please listen to Peg because she's right. Honest to God, that people don't realize it. These trees today are amazing. When I was a kid in this town, they didn't have these trees. They're all grown, they're dying, and we've reached a mature forest, and there's going to be trees coming down that people, it's going to be unimaginable what's happening. But anyway, with respect to the beavers, I'm just, my observation driving up Car Road, the dam is a good 20, 25 feet above the road. If it was in the culvert, they have in the past had to relieve it and open the culvert up again. Beavers around town have actually dammed up the culvert opening itself. But where this is up on your land, if your neighbors, you don't mind, and I can understand that. I totally agree with you, but I don't know what you care about the horse ranch there. So I don't know. I would say that it's on your land and the highway department just couldn't deal with it. It isn't a matter of I'm arguing with you whether, we want them to do it or not. But if it's on your property, I don't believe the highway department could enter it and do it anyway. But anyway, I got to get this in too. I was head of wildlife in the state for a while, Jack, and this is what happens when urban folks and Peter and the Humane Society start to take over wildlife management. They outlawed trapping and the catching of animals. And since then, there are problems like yours, honest to God, all over the state. It's really something. You call Fish and Wildlife and ask the statistics on it. But they'll also tell you that for every beaver that's trapped, there are 3 that people just go out and shoot the things because I'm not advocating that. I'm just telling you how frustrated people are. And I can hear the frustration in your voice too, and I appreciate it.
Walter, I have no frustration. Like I said, if there was 100 beavers there, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Okay. First of all, the Beaver Dam is only about 8 feet from the pipe.
Right.
And it's only 8 feet from the pipe because somebody unclogged the pipe.
Oh, okay.
Prior to that, all right, the pipe was clogged solid. I mean, you can go down there now, you can look at it, you can see evidence that somebody pulled all the brush away from the pipe.
Oh, okay.
So the beavers plugged the pipe up, period. It's the town's responsibility. If the town doesn't want to deal with it, then I don't care if the beavers are there for a million years. That's my position.
It's up to the select people in the highway department.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And it's up to them to put something in writing to me to tell me they won't do anything about it.
No, Jack, that is an incorrect statement. I'm sorry. I need to cut you off from there. That the comments that you're making about the town doesn't care is farthest from the truth. The town is doing right now the best that we can. This is the first that I'm hearing of it. So if you've gone to the Board of Health, if they've gone to Highway, it needs to come to the Board of Selectmen in order to address this. So until, you come and present information and either Board of Health comes with you, Conservation comes with you, but nothing is going to get done. Highway will not show up at your house tomorrow to do whatever needs to be done. They report to us right now, so we need to help dictate what work needs to be done and the priority for the town as a whole.
I've made it clear to Conservation and I made it clear to the Board of Health that I don't need anything done. Okay? I've made that clear to them. All right? I've demonstrated to both Conservation and the Board of Health that this is a highway department problem. Okay? You understand that?
Please don't be condescending, but yes, I do understand that.
Okay.
And unfortunately,
They have all the documentation. They have all the documentation.
who has the documentation?
Conservation and the Board of Health has the documentation.
And as I've said, that information needs to come to the Board of Selectmen. Highway will not do anything.
Peg,
All right,
if I could, my turn.
My turn.
go ahead. Go
My
ahead, Carol.
turn. Peg, the reason the select board has not been involved is because the normal chain of taking care of beaver problems is the Board of Health. And
Exactly.
if anything other than removal of the beavers is involved,
Mhm.
conservation also has to sign off on the plan.
Okay, understood.
So, right, so, and Jack, I have not understood, you had definitely mentioned something about the highway department. I did not understand that you were fairly determined that they were going to take responsibility for this. My understanding was that you were willing to take care of this, that you felt like the highway department should have some involvement, but I didn't, it wasn't clear to me that you were thinking that they should take this responsibility.
But Carolyn, you've told me clearly that the country club owner has threatened legal action over this.
He has,
Okay.
because it is illegal to dismantle a beaver dam.
Okay,
So,
you know I haven't
the,
done- you know I haven't done that. You know.
oh,
I'm
I
not-
know you haven't done that. So then that then falls to who is doing this, who is asking somebody to do this. And then that is the person who the litigation would come against. And I think we all have a fair, at least suspicion of how that is happening. So I'm not,
So I have to protect myself,
I
okay?
understand,
I'm
sure.
getting thrown in the middle of this thing, okay? And I mean, the Beaver guy's telling me it's the responsibility of the town, okay? The town's telling me they don't have the resources to do it. It doesn't affect me in any form or fashion, so why do I need to do anything? Tell me why. I
What
mean,
if,
the
Jack,
town needs to refuse this.
what if your neighbor who wants to deal with it would pick up the tab for having that done?
They did that in the past, and I'm,
I
and
mean,
they probably would. They probably would, but I haven't approached them. And once again, you know, why should I?
that's true. You're right.
Well, they're the ones who are being impacted.
And the other ones that are dismantling the Beaver Dam too, right?
I can only assume. I have no proof of that
And
whatsoever, but
I can only assume too, but you know, I'm getting thrown in the middle of this thing that doesn't affect me in any form or fashion.
right, except that it's your property and people can't do anything on your property to relieve the problem without your
Well,
permission.
They can, I would give them all permission. You know that, you know, and you know, Carolyn, I want to resolve this, but
Sure.
you know, I don't want to get stuck in the middle of a litigation issue because the guy on the country club's got a separate agenda because he's got his holes washed out and everything else. And I
Well,
don't
sure. I mean, it's causing property damage
Yeah, and I
on the
don't want-
golf course.
I don't want to he's trying to put me in the middle of that, and I don't want to take responsibility of that. You want got to understand that.
Well, right. I don't think he's trying to make you responsible for repairing the damage, but somehow the situation as it is untenable. I mean, none of us want the situation to continue the way it is. I don't want to keep getting the phone calls every day from the country club. You don't want to keep getting calls from me saying the country club called again.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, so I'm not, I think we're all trying to figure out how we can resolve this as quickly and easily as possible.
Well, look, there's a $2,000 proposal out there from the Beaver guy. Me and you have both seen it, right?
Yeah.
That's the solution. All right. So it should go to the town should either step up to the plate and say they're going to do it or they're not going to do it. Okay. If they're not going to do it, then it should go to Pat DeBello or myself and make a decision there between the two of us. Okay. I think it's clear that it's the town's responsibility, but if the town wants to deny that, they need to do it in writing because there's potential litigation in place.
Right. So, and Peg, correct, you can correct me if this is an incorrect statement. I believe that the town would do something about it eventually. And it's the eventually part that I think is problematic.
Well, the town doesn't have to lift a finger. All they have to say is yes or no, period.
Yes or no to what, though? To do you, are you,
The proposal to put the pipe underneath the dam.
so
underneath the-
all you want is
No.
all you want is their approval?
No, I want their approval or their denial.
No, that's not my question. My question is, if they look at the plans and they say, yes, this is a good solution, are you then looking for them to cover the cost?
Absolutely.
Is there a price tag on that plan?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like 1,800, 1875 or something.
Well,
So,
you know, and Carolyn, keep in mind too, it's not only a board decision, it's also a finance position. Because I highly doubt that that type of money has been built in to the highway budget. So that would incur a fund transfer. So that's, again, that's not just us, that's finance. So now you've got to take it to another board and present the case as to why Berlin needs to transfer, you know, round up $2,000 into highway to pay for X. So again, it's not a question that the town will or won't. It's a question of this needs to be brought to the board. It needs to be brought to finance to be looked at and determined when, and if when, how, and also how paid for.
So Carolyn, let me make it clear, Carolyn, I have no sympathy for the town. I've lived there for 40 years. I've paid taxes for 40 years. They really let me down hard last year. So they have to come forward one way or another before I do anything. That's my position. That's my position. There's potential litigation here, and the town's going to put themselves right in the middle of it, one way or another.
Well, Carolyn, I don't know if you want an appointment on a board agenda, but this isn't something that I'm going to bring up because I don't have the information, the details, the background, any of that stuff. So unless someone wants to step forward and come to the board, unfortunately, my hands are tied. There's nothing that I can do.
I think the role of the Conservation Commission here is just approving the design of the system. We don't decide whether it should go in or whether it shouldn't go in. That decision is made by others. When it's made to go in, for example, the plans presented to us, we look at it with wetlands laws, and that's the limit of our responsibility. We can't, Madam Chair, can't get dragged into this deeper, and it's up to the neighbors, first of all, and then if Jack is correct, and he probably is, the selectmen have got to deal with it. So I would say that we have no more to say on this. It's until we have a plan in front of us that we either approve or disapprove, and I suspect.
well, we do that. So that was in that email, and that is what I'm looking for
Okay.
us for tonight.
Yeah, you do have a plan. You do have a plan. You have.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, we can definitely vote on that. And then, you know, Jack, I think if you really want the town to take care of the cost, you need to make an appointment with the select board, and I would be happy to go to the meeting.
Yeah, Carolyn, let me make it clear. I don't care about the Beavers. All right. You have a plan. All right.
Yep.
I don't want to go to the town. All right. I don't want to go to the town. I don't want to pay what the town's responsibility is because there's pending litigation here. Okay. The town needs to step up and say, do they want to do it or not? I don't care. I don't care. Okay. There's no enforcement that conservation can put on me or the town can put on me or anything else. The Beavers were put there by God, not by me. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking to enforce,
Yeah.
the biggest enforcement issue that I see is the fact that somebody's dismantling the dam. And I know that's not you, and I
Not
know
me.
that, yeah, so somebody's trespassing on your land and
My
committing
land's
an illegal act.
My land's posted, the people that were supposedly doing this, I told them to stop, cease and desist.
And they have not, at least from reports that I'm getting.
I mean, we don't have any facts to support that, but I agree that what you're getting, so, you know, I would like to help my neighbor. I would like to help my neighbor, but I'm not gonna get in the middle of a feud between the country club and my other neighbors because the beavers are on my land. Right.
Madam Chair, we're getting more mired in this by sticking our nose further into it than we have authority to do anything. Let's either approve a plan that's before us or not. And all this between the neighbors and the selectmen and the highway department is none of our business. So don't get into the middle of it. Jack is absolutely right. And it's on the point he's making, but there's nothing we can do to help.
Correct.
Except approve a plan if it comes before us.
Correct.
Other than the fact, Walter, the people from the country club are gonna continue to harass Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Right.
well, I will just refer him to the select board. Sorry, Peg.
No, and Carolyn, I've said that all along. It needs to come to us. Unless it's brought to our attention, there's nothing that we can do.
Yep, so I will, and I guess to be honest, it came to my attention because he did call the select board, the country club owner. And that was how I became aware of it, was the message got passed on to me.
No,
So-
yeah, it hasn't come to us. Yep.
Yep. So, okay,
So everybody knows that there's an issue between the country club owner and the people that are dismantling the dam, okay?
correct.
And I'm not in the middle of that. And, you know, I'm really, you know, Pat DeBello, her husband passed away, Sid DeBello, just 4th of July. And they've been dealing with these beavers for many, many years. And so, but now there's a personal agenda between the country club owner and the guy that's been dismantling the dam. He worked for them, he fired him, and so on and so forth. And I don't want to get in the middle of all this drama. I'd love to resolve it. I'd love to see the Beavers say they're happy, and I'd love to control the problem and work things out. Like I said, I've been in the town for 40 years, but you know, now there's a threat of litigation. I'm not gonna stick my neck out there. I don't have to.
Okay, so we're gonna take a vote. If I could have a motion to approve the plan that was presented and shown.
So
Just to clarify one thing on that plan is there are no guarantees because, you know, the Beavers may not read the manual on this.
no, the systems work. The systems work. If they
Right.
install it, it will work.
Right, and actually in the literature from the company that was one of those files, they actually do guarantee that they will continue to come out and make adjustments until it does work.
Yeah.
I
So
think I also read there, if they trap them and remove them, they'll come back again.
that they, yeah,
They will, yeah.
That's happened because they were there 8 years ago, and their hutch, actually where they live, is on the other side of the pond. I've seen it. I've crossed the ice there in the winter. And I think there's, what the beaver hunter is saying is if I trap them and I get rid of them, they're gonna come back there again. We're gonna have to deal with this 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah,
Right.
the flow device is the way to go.
so I'm asking for a motion to approve the plan that was presented to the Conservation Commission today.
So move.
Second,
Any other discussion?
So, who seconded?
Robin? I'll take a roll call vote. Robin,
aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Louise,
Aye.
AJ,
Aye.
Carolyn, I. Okay, So here's what we're gonna do, Jack. I'm going to forward the information that I have to Peg. And the next time Bob calls me, I'm going to refer him to the select board. And I wish you the best of luck. But that's about all I can do. I mean, if I can be of a support to help get this resolved, I'm willing to do that. But as far as conservation's official role in this matter, we are done.
Well, Carolyn, thank you for inviting me to the meeting, first
Thank
of
you
all.
for coming.
I appreciate you involving me, and you know, I'm looking for a long-term solution myself also. You know, but I'm looking for the town to take a position one way or another. I think that's important. That's important to me, and you know, resolution is the ultimate goal. Like I said,
Sure.
I've lived in the town for 40 years, and and I don't know how many more years I want to live there, but hopefully till I pass away anyways.
There you go.
So, but I appreciate it, and thank you very much for involving me, everybody. All right.
You're welcome.
How long,
Have a good,
Jack, is that, have you always had it posted?
Yes, I have.
Oh, darn.
Yeah,
I put a tree stand in there about 25 years ago.
yeah.
I wonder if I could go and get it.
No, well, you're welcome to go get it. My nephews hunt up there. I have two nephews that like to hunt. The only reason I posted it, I don't mind hunters going in there if I know they're going, but you know, I've got 60 acres of land up there, and people kind of wander in on the roads, and they get close to my house, so I've
Right.
posted something. You know, but I let certain people hunt there. You know, I'm not a hunter myself, so.
Am I a certain person?
You two
No.
can discuss this off of our meeting.
We can talk about it, yeah, off our meeting.
All right.
All right, nice to talk
Thank
to you.
you.
Have a great night.
See you later.
Thanks, Jack.
you too.
Bye-bye.
I thought it was an opportunity time to take care of that.
Yeah, I know you did. So Peg, you're good with that resolution?
Yeah, I mean, Carolyn, it's, you know, I sound like a bit of a broken record, but unfortunately, unless items are specifically brought to the board and put on an agenda for us to talk to, it's not that the town doesn't want to do anything or does want to do anything. It's just not the flick of a finger. It's
Yeah.
timing, it's money. Who's going to come up with that $1,800? You know, who's going to go to finance to ask them for that money? And when is highway going to have time? You know, it's a complex issue. It's just not boom, okay, yeah, it's done. So
Right.
if he comes to us, great. And if not, well, there's no action that I'll be taking.
Right. So then we're gonna have to get the environmental police involved to stop the destruction of the dam.
Mhm.
right.
So.
But no, I mean, you know that we're there to help support you guys, you know, with it, but I can only
Yeah,
go so
sounds-
far. I'm not gonna make an appointment for him on the board.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that company should be able to do all the work. They shouldn't even need the highway department involved. I think it's just a matter of, you know, he wants the town to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Which did not seem to be an issue until very recently.
Mm.
So,
Okay. All right. No, I'm here for you. So send
right.
whatever along and then I'll just sit on it until I hear from somebody.
all righty. Sounds good. All right. Well, the only other thing, does anybody have anything else about this? All right, so the only other thing I have on the agenda is to kind of update everybody on the CPA pre-application that was put in for the Laura property. So the Community Preservation Committee has voted to put it on the warrant to be voted for at the fall town meeting, which is November. God, I always
8th.
forget it, the 8th. Okay. I always think it's the 1st for some reason. It's the next week. And I went to the capital planning meeting last night and they have voted to recommend. So is that the proper terminology, Peg?
Yeah, I mean, they're in support of your warrant article.
Right. So it was a unanimous vote for their support. So the next step is for the selectmen to vote to put it on the warrant.
We did.
So, oh, good.
It's on.
Yay.
Yeah, the 5 articles that came before CPA are all on the warrant, which went to town council to review.
Excellent. And just to update the committee or the commission, we have Krista Collins got in touch with the lawyers last week, and we do have a verbal agreement. We have a verbal price agreed to, and Krista is working on the details. So once she gets all of that hammered out, we'll have more concrete information. But the good news is they have agreed to sell us the land, agreed to a price that is very close to what we had verbally agreed to a year and a half ago. And we are moving forward.
That's great.
That's not good news. It's excellent news. I had talked to James earlier today and he didn't know what you just said. And I was been a little depressed all afternoon, but that's great news, and shame on us if we don't, between us and SVT, we don't save that 100 acres of land. Shame on us. That's really
well.
stupid.
I am more optimistic than I have been certainly in a year and a half.
Well, I am now that you said that.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Just the fact that they are re-engaging in conversation is huge. And if we can get the CPA money approved at town meeting, Sudbury Valley trustees will have the confidence that the town is willing to do our part to pay for this piece of property. And then we have all kinds of grant opportunities and stuff that will then start on.
Right. Good.
Yep. So all good news.
Did that property ever go on the market?
Nope. Well,
Okay.
not under the current owners. I mean, it went on the market, what, twice, right, Walter? It was,
Yeah.
was it ever
Well,
owned by the
when,
Devines?
When Mr. McGrail died, yeah, his nephew, an attorney over in Clinton, had it, and then he put it up for sale. And I, as Commissioner of Fish and Wildlife, offered him $1 million, which he agreed to. And then I could never reach him until a couple months later, he had turned around and sold it for $1 million to some speculator from Carlisle. And that's where we then, so I don't know, but sold it to the lawyers, but hopefully we can get it.
Right. So chipping away. But that's all I have. Does anybody else?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay, just on the agenda that you sent out to us, you had listed the executive session, but
Yeah,
you're
that
not
was,
holding that.
again, that was a cut and paste.
Right,
I didn't see that it was on the second page.
yeah.
So,
Not a problem.
all right. So yes, there is not an executive session, but that didn't get posted on the, on my town government. That's just what I
No.
sent to you guys. So,
Okay, so I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Oh,
Aye.
sorry.
We're going in
Ho-
order. Don't worry, Carolyn.
Yeah, right. Holly, I think you're the only one I didn't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. And Carolyn, I. All right.